If you're kicking off the new year with a goal to shred some weight or simply just feed your body some healthier choices, I've got you covered. I just tackled a massive grocery haul with all of the delicious high protein foods that we like to eat regularly. I've noticed that when I start to focus on eating more protein, like right now my goal is 120 grams of protein a day, that I notice some big changes in my body. I'm leaner in my waistline, I'm not hungry, I have more energy throughout the day, and I just feel stronger overall. So I'm sharing the goods, what I bought, why I bought it, and how it can help you crush your goals for the new year. So let's dive in and make this your year of delicious protein-focused eats. When I started my health journey, I followed one simple rule, which was to always shop the perimeter of the grocery store first, since that's where all the fresh whole foods usually are at. I hit the produce section first and load up on veggies and fruits, and then I hit the meat department and then the dairy section before hitting up the pantry sections, which is usually that middle section. That way I'm not tempted to grab a bag of chips and throw it in my cart, because usually my cart is full by then, plus I'm just tired and want to go home. Let's talk veggies, because it's the first thing that I grab at the grocery store. And they're totally underrated when it comes to protein. And even though I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian, I still load up on them. And I'm not saying that veggies have a ton of protein, but they do have a small amount, which can contribute to meeting your goal throughout the day. But they also bring in fiber, which is essential for digestion. They have vitamins, minerals, especially if you buy the organic produce. Some of the veggies I buy are broccoli and zucchini. These are always staples in my cart. They're my go-to veggies that I cook for dinner throughout the week. And asparagus has a decent amount of protein for being a vegetable. 1 cup of asparagus has 4 grams of protein. And I'm a salad addict. I'll have a salad almost every single day, and I'll either buy my own dressing or make it myself. But lettuce, like romaine lettuce, is a great source of protein. 1 head of romaine lettuce has 8 grams of protein. And that can go a long way. Like, let's say I'm having a big salad for lunch, it's easy for me to have this entire head of lettuce. If you're trying to figure out what lettuce is the best to use, always go for the dark leafy greens. They will usually have the most nutrients in them. Another one that I keep on hand is cucumber, and it doesn't have a ton of protein in it. 1 cucumber has about 2 grams of protein, but it does have a lot of water, and it's good for detox to help flush out any toxins. Parsley and cilantro provide flavor to any dish, plus they have fiber and give minerals and vitamins. And spinach is another goodie. It's a great way to get some extra protein. 3 cups of spinach has around 3 grams of protein, I believe, and I know it wilts down to nothing, so it's easy for me to eat this whole bag if I wanted to, especially if I saute it. These veggies are something that I always make sure that we have with most of my meals. Always I have them for dinner, sometimes I have them for lunch, and sometimes I have them for breakfast. And with my goal of 120 grams of protein a day right now, sometimes it can be hard to reach that, especially if I'm busy. So eating these veggies can help me reach that goal. Most women don't eat enough protein throughout the day. And if you feel like you've been working out, eating well, and not seeing changes in your body, you might need to try increasing your protein in order to see these changes, because it really does impact our ability to lose weight and balance our hormones, build and maintain muscle, and burn body fat. I discuss all this in my book that I have coming out later in the year, and if you want to get alerted to when my book is going to be coming out, just head over to my website, KetoFocus.com, and pop in your email to get signed up to my email list. Also, I'm grabbing avocado because a few slices of this with lunch actually helps me keep full and satisfied until dinner. There was a girl I used to work with like 20 years ago, and she used to have an avocado for lunch every single day. And this was before anybody knew anything about healthy fats and that avocados were good for you and anything about low carb or keto. This was during like the low fat craze. I used to think she was crazy because I was like, an avocado, that's a ton of fat. What are you doing? But she was a skinny mini, and so she actually knew what was up back then. Onions give flavor to any dish, plus they're a good source of fiber and prebiotics. And then berries, from blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. I'll grab whatever looks good or whatever's on sale, but these are great for just when you want something sweet to have. Also, they're filled with antioxidants and vitamins. Making sure I'm getting food from whole, real sources is important to me. It's also important that I take a multivitamin that is whole food sourced as well. Gem is a multivitamin made from real food ingredients. It has over 20 real food vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and prebiotics, all whole food sourced. Lately in the news, all I've been hearing is about the dangerous chemicals and synthetic ingredients found in foods. The more I research this, the more I've been making an effort to swap out some processed foods and products from what we eat and switch them out with whole food, real ingredients. And I'm glad that I made the switch to a real foods-based multivitamin several months ago, especially because our bodies absorb nutrients better from whole food sources compared to synthetic ones. The Gem Bite has turmeric for skin and gut protection. It has zinc from pumpkin seeds. It even has vitamin K2 sourced from chickpeas. And having real food sourced probiotics and prebiotics in here has really helped me to tame my digestive bloat. And I really like the flavor of it. It's a citrusy ginger flavor. I look forward to taking it every morning, and for me, making sure that I'm getting my multivitamin and my supplements every morning has made the most difference in my energy levels throughout the day, along with eating whole foods and protein. Right now, Gem is offering a special deal off of your first month. Go to dailygem.com/KetoFocus and use my code KetoFocus at checkout. The next section I hit up in the grocery store is the meat department. And there's two things that I always get here and add to my shopping cart every week, because these are two protein sources that are so versatile and easy to make and turn into multiple meals throughout the week. And that's ground beef and boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Ground beef I use to make low-carb spaghetti with my kaizen noodles, which are high-protein, low-carb noodles. I'll use it to make tacos, shepherd's pie, hamburger soup. And when it comes to chicken, I prefer to get the skinless, boneless chicken thighs rather than breast. I find the thighs to be a little bit more flavorful than the breast, plus they're usually cheaper and they're more forgiving too. When you cook them, you don't really have to monitor them as much as you would for a chicken breast, because you're not going to run the risk of making them too dry like a chicken breast would if you overcook it. If you saw in my previous video this month, I like to make shredded chicken in my Instant Pot from a pack of chicken thighs, and then I just add them to meals throughout the week. Next, I hit up the dairy section and I'll grab some yogurt, either one that's labeled low carb like the Too Good brand, or I'll just grab a plain Greek yogurt because it has the highest protein content. And there's a lot of different brands out there. My biggest thing is when it comes to plain yogurt is to make sure that you're getting one that has the lowest sugar content, so usually less than 5 grams of sugar like this one does. And this has 15 grams of protein per 3/4 of a cup serving. But if you're one that likes the flavored yogurt, really try and find a low carb version, because a lot of the flavored yogurts tend to have a lot more sugar in them. But like the Too Good brand, one portion of these, just like one little cup, only has 4 carbohydrates, and they're delicious. Different brands are going to have their macros differ slightly and the amount of carbs and proteins they have in them. You don't have to buy the brands that I buy. You don't have to buy organic or non-GMO. You just want to work with whatever your budget is, but you should always be thinking about like how much protein is in something and how much sugar does it have. Those are the most important things when you're shopping. I also grabbed some cottage cheese. Good Culture is a brand that I usually like to pick up, but sometimes I'll get this Daisy cottage cheese. But you can use this to make flatbread, tater tots, like I showed you in my last week's video. And half a cup of cottage cheese can have anywhere from 12 to 14 grams of protein in it. I also like to mix this up with a scoop of protein powder for breakfast in the morning. It's just really easy and a great way to get a high amount of protein in one meal. I'll also grab these mozzarella sticks for my kids. I have 2 growing teenage boys who are multi-sport athletes, so making sure that they get enough protein in their diet is very, very much a priority in our lives. Eggs, I know these aren't dairy, but they're in the dairy section. I always have at least 2 dozen eggs in the fridge. We go through them like crazy. And then I'll have hard-boiled eggs as well. These make an excellent snack. Plus the egg whites, you can use them as a thickener in smoothies too if you blend them down. These I like to pick up from Costco because they sell the Wilcox brand, which I love the flavor of these eggs. Plus it's just so convenient and less expensive for me to buy a big pack of this rather than trying to boil my own. Actually, probably boiling my own would be cheaper, but buying the big pack at Costco of hard-boiled eggs is cheaper than buying hard-boiled eggs at the regular grocery store, is what I'm trying to say. Another thing I usually pick up from Safeway, but they didn't have them in stock this time. I hope that they are not discontinuing them. It's the egg wraps by Egg Life, I think is what the brand name is. These egg wraps are made just from eggs, so they're high in protein and have 0 carbs in them. And you can use them to make things like burritos, any sort of sandwich wrap. I've used them to make noodles, like lasagna noodles, or use them as like a pasta noodle if you cut them up. They're delicious and just a really good staple to always have on hand. Let's dive into the middle section of the grocery store. It's often an overlooked spot that still has a lot of protein-packed items in it. First up is pumpkin seeds. These are so underrated. I like to sprinkle them in my salads, like on top of little sandwich wraps, toss them in dinners. It's a game changer, mostly because they add some crunch, but these are actually packed with protein too. Just a quarter cup has 8 grams of protein in it. Now, you're probably not going to eat a quarter cup of all of these, but if you throw them in things throughout the day, like I said, a little adds up to a long ways. Not only do they bring great flavor, but they have some healthy fat in it. They have magnesium, which we all need more of, and some zinc too. Now let's talk about something that you might not find at your typical grocery store, but you can get them from Amazon. It is something that I usually always keep in my pantry now that we are focusing on high protein and low carb, and that is lupini beans and black soybeans. Both of these are excellent sources of protein. Lupini beans are so versatile. You can just snack on them straight from the bag, or you can use these as like a bean substitute if you're making minestrone soup. Throw these in your soup. I actually like to grind these down to make my own hummus. I have a recipe on my website, KetoFocus.com, for delicious keto hummus made from lupini beans. But 15 of these beans has 0 net carbs and 4 grams of protein. Black soybeans are a fantastic substitute for black beans. And if you're cool with soy and you don't think that it's the devil, this could really be a powerhouse to add to substitute anything that calls for black beans. Like you could put them in chilies, any sort of Tex-Mex dish that you're making, put them in your burritos. They're lower in carbs. There's 5 net carbs per half a cup serving and 11 grams of protein. Now, another surprising find is artichokes in a can. Cooking fresh artichokes is a journey, but the canned ones are just total lifesavers. And I love the flavor of artichoke heart. 1 can packs around 3 grams of protein. It's not a ton, and you're probably not gonna eat the entire can, but again, it adds up. And I like to toss them into salads, soups, or you can even just toss them in the frying pan and saute them for a few minutes and serve them as a side dish. Now, the real MVP for having quite a bit of protein is bone broth. And this stuff has been a game changer for hitting protein goals without eating nonstop. Almost every store carries it, and it blows regular chicken broth out of the water. I actually prefer to make my own bone broth, but sometimes I just don't have the time to do it. So it's good to always have some on hand from the carton that I pick up from the store. Like this container is 16 ounces. It has 19 grams of protein in it. And you can sip on it like a little cozy drink. A sprinkle of salt and pepper. It's like having chicken noodle soup without the chicken or the noodles. Now, I don't get it every week, but tuna is obviously a great source of protein, but no one else in my family likes tuna but me, so that's why I don't get it all the time. But I always do have it in my pantry just in case, because it's great for a quick lunch or meal. Now that you've seen my grocery haul, if you want to see some of the high protein recipes that I've used to help me lose weight and maintain my weight loss, then just click right here to watch this video.